Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. What's going on, man? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Good morning. Let me get a sip of water. Going to be happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday. Happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday. Kentrell LeGrew, happy Friday, man. What's going on? Valerie, what's going on? How you doing? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Kentrell LeGrew, I think I see Kentrell, you're the first one I say good morning to. Jose Lopez, man. Sup, brother? How you feeling, man? Good morning. Good morning. Jeremy Austin in the building. Good morning, man. Jose, all this is a turkey movement. Unfortunately, the young bucks pay the price later on. What is that? What are you talking about specifically? Crawford is, I'm gonna tell you about this Crawford shit. That shit was funny, bro. They're trying to snatch that dude's undisputed from him, man. I get to actually be pro Terence Crawford today. Because there's a growing list of people that are trying to say that Terence Crawford was never a 3-time undisputed champion. He's a 2-time undisputed champion. So he's actually got he has fewer undisputed championships than Monster Inoue does. Because Bud didn't follow the process. Usyk had to fight Wilder to prove that he's the best heavyweight of his era. Well, I'm going to tell you what I think it is. I think that he's a great guy for doing it, man. I think that he's a stand-up individual. Alexander Usyk I think Alexander Usyk is a class individual. And he's given Deontay Wilder an opportunity that Deontay Wilder deserves. He's done enough in the sport. He's old enough. He's got all these fights. He's got all these championship wins. He shouldn't be treated like he's Moses Atumwa or somebody. You know what I mean? He shouldn't be treated like he's Fabio Wardley or somebody. You know, somebody that has Fabio Wardley's a world champion that's never won a world championship fight. But yet, boom, he's the world champion, right? Because they're trying to set up these guys for successes. And that's okay. Promoters do what the promoters do. They got fighters that they want to be champions down the line. That's fine and dandy. But I just think Alexander Usyk is showing great character by giving Deontay Wilder an opportunity for the fight for all the belts that Deontay Wilder's never been able to fight for before. Except for, the WBC. He still has a WBC. But the WBA and the WB and the IBF. Or is it the WBO? I can't remember. Which one? I think the WBO is the one that Fabio Wardley has. But yeah, for sure, it'd be an extremely, extremely, extremely tough fight for both guys. Deontay Wilder is a very dangerous fighter, man. You know, it depends on yeah, I agree. It depends on what Wilder we get. I can agree with that, man. What's up, Nuke the Duke? How you feeling, brother? Good morning, man. Hi, good morning. Marcus the Villain, man. Happy Friday to you, man. What's up? DOG, EOG, what up, man? Man, whatever happened to my guy, E-Money? E-Money. That was my guy's name, E-Money. E-Money. E-Money was a big Bud fan, man. I ain't seen E-Money in years, bro. Shout out to E-Money, man. Jamal Dubois, what's going on? Berta Owens, good morning. Jerome Basham, I'm a big Prophet fan and stand by inside. I don't know what that is, man. He said he never defended it anyway. What is that? You talking about Bud? We'll get on that after he say what's up to everybody. What's up, Zulu Lion, man? What's going on, bro? Yeah, that's out of respect. You got to give him the man the fight out of respect, bro. Like, come on, man. All that stuff that they did to tear down Deontay, man, was so frustrating. What's up, Troy Hutch? How you feeling, man? Wilder would have beat AJ any day. Yeah, that was his opportunity that they didn't let him have. Yeah, Nuke's in the other chat. It's the chat split. Nuke's in the other chat. Yeah. Nuke the Duke is in the other chat, bro. You got to go to whatever what is it? Nuke the Duke is in the. Yeah, he's in the one with the vertical. The vertical. She loved me on payday. Oh, I love that name, bro. She loves me on payday, bro. Whoo, man, they gotta love it. Payday's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Nuke the Duke said, our guy, Tommy Hearns, is not doing well. Mind is slipping, lost his 2-acre home, and is broke. His children battling for power of attorney. I don't know. Is that really the deal? I don't know if that, I mean, I knew that, people have money problems and all of that stuff, but I saw videos of him doing with his kids and his family saying, hey, I'm doing perfectly well. But I knew that there was stuff going on with Tommy Hearns. But all I'm going to do is just wish for the best for his family. And I'm sure his family is going to do well. I'm sure that they're going to get past whatever trials and tribulations they have going on, man. But Tommy Hearns has always been a great supporter of the channel. Man, he's one of the greatest fighters to ever do it, man. Zulu said, "Hi, wink at me. That's a signal that Bill is coming up." What is that? Oh, she wink at me. That's the signal that a bill is coming up. Yeah, man. I can't wait till the PBC starts going better so it's easier to pay these bills, man. Damn, hoping the best for Hearns, legendary hitman. Yeah, man. Yeah. Absolutely, man. He's a terrific fight, man, a terrific guy too. A terrific guy. But, I had heard a little while, he had a very long boxing career, took a lot of shots, and his health kind of got affected, but age and everything, man, it all catches up to us at a certain point in time, man. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this fight with this Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez thing, man, because I don't think that that's the right way to look at that. Contrell said, Tank and Errol need to announce something. Man, would you mind? Like, I'm happy that Deontay Wilder is announcing something. Man, it seems like 2026 will be a much better year than 2025. But man, did you hear that? I'm going to play for you this. Let me see if I can get it on Instagram so y'all get a chance to see it. Yes, City. Yes, sir. Cobra, the Cobra of Detroit, the hitman. Yeah, bro. What is this? This thing got like, what is this? That's weird, man. Okay. Hey, what's up, Big Block? All right, so I'm going to play this. Huh. Hey, how do you get to those? God dog, man. I can't get it. I do not understand Instagram for anything on my phone. I saved something on Instagram. It's like I tagged it or bookmarked it, but I have no idea how to get to my bookmarks on my phone. Maybe it's over here. No, it's not over there. How do you get to bookmarks on that mug? What did Bud do now? Look, bro. What did Bud? No, Bud didn't do anything now. Bud got stripped of the belt, Jeffrey Brooks. Let me tell you what Bud did now. What Bud did now is Bud is no longer a 3-time undisputed champion. And in fact, they're saying that Bud Crawford was never a 3-time undisputed champion. It's in settings, in settings. Why the shit would it be in settings? Okay. Saved. All right. Oh, dope.
It's Clapback Thursday. Dana White's t-shirt announced the debut of Zuffa Boxing will be January 23rd, 2026. We have no idea who is fighting or where, but it's taking place on Friday night.
The undercard is stacked with guys that used to fight behind El Gordo's tacos.
So it'll be the red-headed stepchild to the UFC right off the bat. COO and president of TKO, Mark Shapiro, confirmed Zuffa Boxing is completely funded by Saudi Arabia, and TKO is taking zero financial risk. And their goal is to build a promotion with 200 fighters. Sound familiar? Look, I follow combat sports, but outside of John Jones, Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey, or Khabib, I don't know who the fuck anybody is in the UFC.
Who are these fucking guys?
Why don't those big names fight anymore? Because they outgrew the UFC model and demand more money than the pay scale offers.
Show me the money.
TKO will not allow anyone to become a star
I'm the one selling the records.
and grow to their full potential. There will be no development of Zuffa fighters because they will get thrown into the fire right off the bat and face extremely tough opponents. So if you lose, you're done. There's no building a champion or a career. And how in the fuck is Dana going to manage 200 boxers along with the 200 UFC fighters? At Golden Boy, we have about 35 fighters currently, and we expect every single one to become a world champion. Quality over quantity. We know the formula. I've done it for 25 years. Bob Arum has done it successfully for almost 50 years. Boxing had been thriving for 100 years, but TKO board member Nick Khan is using big words.
This will also be part of the Ali Act. So we're simply looking to enhance it.
Trying to get you to believe that Zuffa is going to somehow reinvent the wheel? How are you going to do that? Erase 100 years of history? You're already trying to change legislation that was put in place to protect the fighters. And you're actively trying to erase the governing bodies?
I will not recognize any of the other sanctioning bodies.
You said you're making your own ring.
We're already working on a new design for the ring.
You're making your own rules,
Possibly even rule changes.
your own referees, your own rankings. I mean, I assume this is more like a reality show?
Right? You have AAA, and then you have the major leagues. And I know you're very into the development of fighters. That's what you really geek out on your like contender series.
I mean, here's the fine print. If you sign on the dotted line with TKO and Zuffa, you're signing your rights away. You've seen it in the UFC. They want a monopoly. And not only will they be stuck in a dictatorship, you'll be guided by people who have no fucking idea about boxing.
You don't know shit about boxing.
Nick, do you even watch boxing?
No.
What about Katie Taylor Serrano or Jake Paul versus Tyson, which is the biggest fight in boxing history? Ryan Garcia versus Tank, Crawford versus Spence, Fury versus Wilder, Triple G versus Canelo, the trilogy. These are all fights that happened in the last 5 years. Nick says they are huge names are, but
That's what you really geek out on your like contender series.
I mean, here's the fine print. If you sign on the dotted line with TKO and Zuffa, you're signing your rights away. You've seen it in the UFC. They want a monopoly. And not only will they be stuck in a dictatorship, you'll be guided by people who have no fucking idea about boxing.
You don't know shit about boxing.
Nick, do you even watch boxing?
No.
What about Katie Taylor Serrano or Jake Paul versus Tyson, which is the biggest fight in boxing history? Ryan Garcia versus Tank, Crawford versus Spence, Fury versus Wilder, Triple G versus Canelo, the trilogy. These are all fights that happened in the last 5 years. Nick says they already have some amazing fighters signed to Zuffa. So I guess we wait to hear who those huge names are. But I'm willing to bet my ball sack. These nuts, they're lying to us. Just like they're lying about them changing the Muhammad Ali Act. Because where the fuck are you finding top level talent that nobody knows about?
Some people may not know them.
Are you creating AI fighters? You got Frankenstein signed to Zuffa? What the fuck are you talking about? But I guess we'll find out when your big January 23rd card is announced. And it better be the greatest fucking card I've ever seen in my entire career. Nick and Dana, beware. If you have mostly C or D level fighters in your league, it will completely devalue the ring belt and brand. Lots of pressure on you, my friends. Just try to lay off the fucking eggnog for the holiday seasons. I mean, hopefully fucking Santa bring you some goddamn Ozempic under your tree. So remember, kids, you're never a hater if you only speak the facts. And Dana, fuck you.
And Dana, fuck you. Oscar is great, man. I swear, man. Ever since he stopped, but he's a hypocrite at the same time. You know what I mean? Hey, Phoenix the Assassin, thank you for the $5 holler. Says Baltimore didn't pay sanctioning fees when he beat Judah for Undisputed, so he was never recognized as Undisputed. Bud didn't pay the WBC, so no 3-time Undisputed. Man, I think you agree. I'm going to put a link in the chat. I know you guys agree with that. I know you guys agree with that. Absolutely, positively have to agree with that. Because if you don't pay the sanctioning fee, hey, man, thank you to Nolly Smith, bro. Thank you, bro. He said, hey, here goes some color in the chat for non-salute. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Really, really do, bro. Hopefully next year, man, let's just say a prayer. I'm saying a prayer because next year we know that the PBC is going to put on a lot of fantastic cards. In 2026, these haters who have been fucking over the PBC for the last several years will all find a reason to shut the fuck up and leave them alone. There's going to be something that's going to happen and is going to make it better for Black American fighters in the PBC. I'm telling you, because I ain't tripping on all this crap. It's so hard for me to get into this Ring Magazine stuff because the Ring Magazine is fucking terrible. Thank you all in advance. Thank you, Al, in advance, bro. Like, seriously, bro. Thank you, Al, in advance for having a fight cards. Dog, put 10 fucking fight cards on with good competitive fights with the fighters that can fight each other. Fuck what the echo chamber has to say. Just give us the fights, bro. Man, do you realize, bro? I was talking yesterday, and I realized that every single solitary one of my favorite fighters have either had car accidents, long layoffs. They've either been blocked from fights, or they have people that have like media just like going at them. Like everyone, man. Have you noticed that? Like over the last 2 years, bro, every single one of these PBC fighters, the Black dominant, they all have problems, bro. Deontay Wilder had problems getting Deontay Wilder, Errol Spence, Terence, Gervonta Davis, Jamal Charlo. It just goes on and on and on, bro. It's like, for some reason, PBC fighters just cannot get over the hump and be able to have the fight dates. And there's always some stuff going on around them. You know what I mean? Always some women causing them problems or some drama taking place. And I'm just really hoping for the year 2026 that you guys can stop that stuff, man, and allow this organization to have a wonderful, wonderful year. Everybody wants to support Turkey Al-Sheikh, and everybody wants to support the UK coming to the United States. But it doesn't seem like any of you guys really want to support the fighters that are working under the system we have, man. And this right here, like if you listen to this, bro, they said that according to Oscar De La Hoya, TKO is 100% Saudi funded. 100% Saudi funded. That means that they're not getting any money from anybody but Saudi Arabia for these fights. And they are going to try to solely fund in a league something to take over American boxing and have them pay for the entire thing, bro. That is just stone cold stupid. You know what I mean? It's bought. I'm just saying, man, it's like, it is a wild, he got to say that so he don't get the backlash. Oh no, he's not going to say anything about Turkey Al-Sheikh. You know, they're going to keep it to Dana White and they're going to keep it to TKO because Turkey Al-Sheikh decided to back TKO and Mohammed bin Salam decided to back TKO in their attempt to take over American boxing. So do you know what that does mean? I'm pretty sure that means that they're going to, what do they say? They're going to have the big fight cards and they're going to have everybody else not make any money. So whoever it is these fighters are that are working with TKO, that are going to be fighting on the cards for Dana White whenever they kick off next year, these people are going to be the only ones that are going to make money. Meanwhile, everybody else is going to sign away their rights. Sign away their rights to TKO not to make any money. Yeah, I think they're trying to kill the sport, man. That's what I think. Say, yeah, Martin, I like this version of live way more. Not really a fan of the one that doesn't let me scroll while listening. Oh, okay. I don't. Oh, that's just the regular one. Yeah, I don't know what that is, man. I just know it allows me to have. All I know is that it gives it's in two different formats. It's crazy. Hold on one second. It's a gimmick in a circus. Yeah, I think it's a way just to spend a lot of money, man. I think it's just a lot. I think it's just a way to waste a lot of money. I think it's an organized money waste, but it is what it is, man. What happened to Al Heyman? I don't know what happened to Al Heyman. I've never ever spoken to Al Heyman. If I had to guess what happened to Al Heyman, nothing probably happened to Al Heyman. Al Heyman is probably sitting at home and doing whatever he's got to do to try to get fight cards done. But you know what it is? His fighters have been on a lot of fight cards. I'm talking about the PBC fight. I'm talking about the PBC cards. I know that Al Heyman fighters have been getting fights. I just saw David Benavidez headline a card on one of Turki Al-Sheikh's cards was just headlined by Al Heyman fighter. From what it seems to me is like Turki Al-Sheikh and Al Heyman, they seem like they work together. I don't know whether or not Deontay Wilder is still advised by Al Heyman or not, but I'm pretty sure he is. And it looks like he's going to come up off something. The lightweight division is the only thing worth pay-per-view. Everything is on pay-per-view. I mean, you know, the funny thing is, man, like they made fun of the PBC so much for putting things on pay-per-view. And now almost every single solitary fight on the zone is on pay-per-view. So it was like they made fun of, they criticized people for the business model that they were really just trying to take. And no, I don't think this TKO thing is going to work. And if it does work, I mean, people would have to be pretty desperate and pretty dumb for that to work. You know, I will explain on the panel what does and doesn't make sense, what Bud is talking about. What? Here you go. You want a link to explain to me what makes sense? Bro, I have a hard time you're going to make that make sense. There you go. Honestly, man, next year, I'm paying for the PBC fight cards. Honestly, man, I just need to pay for the fight cards because I need to watch the fights, you know, but I just don't want to support Turki Al-Sheikh. I really don't. I don't want my money going to Turki Al-Sheikh. I don't want to do that with those guys. I don't find those don't look like guys I really want to, you know what I mean? I'm not rooting for those guys. You know, I'm not rooting for them. So to me, it's like I'm giving my money to the guys that are really trying to shut down boxing. Like it's like they're making me pay for them to shut down boxing. Hey, Jeffrey, how can I help you?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you well.
Oh, hey, what's going on? Hey, yeah, because I was doing a little bit of research on this whole thing about why he refused to pay the sanctioning fee because, you know, he gets on when he got on live and he's talking about why I pay for what was $300,000 when I'm paying lesser to the other sanctioning fees and this and that as far as that. So I had to go on there and look and all the belts. So this was not making sense what he's saying, really. All the belts charge up to a 3%. So that means they all could come out to around the same fee price. You see what I'm saying? But even though the WBC gave him a reduced rate, which came out to $300,000, I believe. So it's like, well, wait a minute. They all charging around the same, roughly around the same. How is you paying less to the other belts? And when they all charge a 3%, you know what I'm saying? So you really should be paying the same amount of money to all sanctionists. You know what I'm saying? And but he claimed that he's not. You know what I'm saying?
But the part you're missing is that he agreed to the fees with them. He agreed because the sanction fees were already agreed to. The sanction fees were agreed to before the fight. Then, after the fight was over, Terence Crawford wanted to renegotiate and drive the prices down. He had already agreed. So that's like me saying, that's like you fight for me. I say, okay, I'm going to charge you $300, $300,000 for this fight. That's the fee. Do you want to fight for our belt? Terence Crawford says yes. Then Terence Crawford wins the belt. Then Terence Crawford says, well, I don't want to pay that money.
And renege. And then renege.
Money. So he went to the WBO and said, hey, I don't want to pay that money. The WBO says, okay, we can do it. And then the WBA says, okay, we can do it. And they all decided to renegotiate. The WBC said, no, we're not going to renegotiate. We're just going to take our belt back. So they didn't take it. It's not that Terence Crawford didn't want to pay a sanction fee. He just tried to talk them down and they said no. And they took the belt back.
Okay. So far as this thing about, because what I'm hearing a lot is another reason why he's not paying is because he don't see where this money, some of the percentage of the money supposed to go to the retired fighters.
Bullshit. Because he paid.
I'm just trying to make sure.
Let me tell you why that's bullshit.
Okay.
Because he paid, because he doesn't know where the fees are going for the WBC, and he paid the sanctioning fees before.
Oh.
And he didn't know. He didn't know where the sanctioning fees were going when he agreed to pay.
Right.
No, what he's doing is he's taking a talking point that people use to criticize the WBC or the sanctioning bodies, and he's used it to justify him not paying what he agreed to pay. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether or not he knew where it was going or not, bro. Because if you agree to buy a car for a BMW from the BMW dealership, it's not up to you what they do with that money as long as you get the BMW. As long as he gets to fight for the WBC World Championship, who cares where the money's going? They could take their money and burn it. As long as he got the benefit of the bargain, which he did. He got to stand up there with the WBC belt and claim he was the undisputed champion of the world because the WBC said he was. And then he decided not to pay.
Yeah, most definitely. From his standpoint, far as this is how much this is how much the fee is. I mean, don't worry about where it's going to. Yeah, I get that far as from his own personal
excuse.
From his position.
Look, hold on.
Yeah,
I'm a big proponent of not muddling topics.
Okay.
I don't want to muddle the topic because that's what that argument is doing. It's muddling or muddying the water. It doesn't matter where the money went because he agreed to pay it and he's paid it in the past. They negotiated with him for him to fight for a belt. He knew he wasn't fighting for the WBC belt for free. He knew it. Terence Crawford negotiates for 9 hours, according to him, with Turki Al-Sheikh over every deal of his contract, and you're telling me he didn't know how much his fee was going to be, even though he said he negotiated for 9 hours with them, but he didn't know what his fee was going to be? That's horse shit. If you're so detailed that you're going over every deal of the contract, this man has been an undisputed champion before. He's lying. He absolutely knows the process. He's already done undisputed 2 times. He's unified champion. He's already unified. He knows he's been a world champion for like 30 fucking fights. He knows how sanctioning fees work. No, what that argument does is it muddies the water. It makes people say, oh, well, why is he paying this? It doesn't matter. He agreed to pay. You can't go into McDonald's and get your hamburger, eat your fucking hamburger, turn around and say, nah, give me $2 off because I don't think it was worth it. Give me my money back. You can't do it. That's why I've always said about Bud. Bud got very shady negotiation tactics. That's what they used to say about Don King. Like, and I'm telling you, I've dealt with people like this too, where you strike a deal, but no matter what deal you strike with them, they want to renegotiate the fucking thing the entire time. Don't live up to their fucking promises. Because at the end of the day, what Bud didn't do is Bud did not live up to the promise he made to the WBC. And he can say, oh, I'm a man of my word. Horse shit. You were negotiating with two people at the same time when you were dealing with Errol. Had a whole nother fight that he was negotiating and getting, and then just pulled out on Errol. When Errol thought that Terence said he just wants this one more thing. What was it? Transparency. Okay, we give you the transparency. And then what does Bud do? Bud jumps out and fights David Abanesian. No, that's the fucking problem with Bud, bro. That shit, you would never get away with that, dog. You would, matter of fact, you would, if you found out that every time you enter into a contract with somebody and you agree on a price, that you know that they're not going to pay the price, that they're going to come back and ask you for a discount and, I don't know, there's a scratch on it, take it back and all that horse shit. Come on, man. Anyway, what's up, T-More Bully? And what's up, King of Hayden?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's going on, Fernand? Hey, man, I don't want to get, hey, what's up, Phoenix? Hey, look, man, I want to get this, I want to go ahead and say this. And you Bud buddies are going to be upset about it, but frankly, I don't give a damn. Look, Bud was not the first boxer to say, fuck those sanctioning fees. Seriously. He was the first one to dispatch of a WBC belt. I seen Riddick Bowe take the belt with Rock Newman by his side and a trash can and say, if Lennox Lewis wants this belt that bad, he can get it out this trash can. That's before the email era. And I've seen also not only Floyd, but other boxers who said, I'm not paying those sanctioning fees. Tank Davis said, Tank don't want to fight for Undisputed. He don't want those belts. He a coward. No. If you go back and look at it now, you say he a hero. Why? Because being undisputed means you at the beck and call of the sanctioning bodies. And not only do you have to pay those fees to be champion or undisputed, that's just how it goes. It's been like that in boxing. So Bud ain't no superhero. Don't put no cape on that nigga. For real, yo. Be for real. He do not get to be a superhero because he's saying, fuck that WBC belt. And now his little underling, mini-me, little manipulator in training, is up here saying, I don't want that WBC belt if I got to fight Usyk Foster. What type of, all right then, he's a coward. Because here's a man who's his mandatory.
Hey, can y'all
calling him out.
Hey, are you three good for a while? You good, Jeffrey?
Yeah, we good.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be back in maybe 10, man. Thank y'all for the break. Hey,
all right, man.
Chat, hit the like, do something to participate, man. Thank y'all. I'll be right back.
Yeah, get those likes up. For real, man. We got a lot of people up in here ear hustling. You know what I mean? If you up in here ear hustling, click those likes, man. Give that man some respect. For real. You know what I mean? But like I'm saying, man, come on. For real. Usyk Foster is calling this man out in the street, and he's trying to put somebody he considered his brother on the side. How many brothers in the same weight class is this nigga going to have before he go ahead and he step up? No, what he doing is making everybody a friend so he could train with him. So if he ever do get in the ring with him, he already know his feints. He already know his tells. He already know how he box. That's what he did with Jamal Hearns. That's why that fight was such a whitewash. You know what I mean? But I digress. I hand it over to my man, the king of hate. Hate. Get him.
Yeah, you know what it is, man. But now, like, so you right, because man, I'm mad that Bud even got that T-shirt up on his website talking about "I am the belt." Like, come on, man, come on. And you was right, but you left off Keyshawn. See, all the Bud buddies following in line. Shakur said he don't want to fight O'Shaquie, and then they got Keyshawn saying that he never gonna pay a sanctioning fee again. He just came out and said that. I think was it yesterday or the day before. So they all following suit with this whole thing Bud doing. But now, like, that's the thing. They need to come out and start being consistent with how they handling all this because like I was saying in that super chat I dropped earlier, if you remember when Zab Judah was undisputed at 147, Carlos Balderman beat him, but he ain't paid the sanctioning fees, so he never got to be recognized as undisputed. So I'm saying, like, sure, if that's the case, why we gonna let Buzz slide and then call him a three-time, three-weight undisputed champion? Why we gonna do that when it's the same situation as Balderman? Like, like no pay, no belt. That's how it go. So I don't see how we should be giving Bud any special treatment. And like Fanon was saying, like, so how this dude held the belts at 140, held the belts at 147, got another belt at 154 against Mandermal, and then like he don't know he got to pay sanctioning fees. Like both fighters got to pay that. It's in the rules. Both and whenever they're fighting for the belt, they got both fighters got to pay the sanctioning fee for whatever belt they fighting for, and that means Canelo had to pay too. You ain't hear Canelo complaining. Now you want to hear well, shoot, even Devin Haney didn't complain about paying sanctioning fee for the belt, and you know
Mm-hmm.
his money situation. So this is the thing that's kind of funny for me when Shakur talking about he learned integrity from Bud. What about this whole situation has shown any integrity at all? Hmm? Bud knew what it was when he signed the contract. Bud knew what it was when he was going after them belts. Now he want to come up and try to do some shady negotiation. You know, he don't want to be an honest person. Like, come on, man. I ain't with that. So they need to go ahead and cut all that out. Cut all that out. Because man, like the way that they moving with this whole Terence, man, they trying to push Bud like as some type of boxing revolutionary. And he's not that. I don't see why so many people is rallying behind him with this nonsense, and so many people is supporting him and talking this up like they ain't never seen nothing like this before. They need to cut all that out. They need to cut all that out and go ahead and shoot. We need to start going ahead and getting at them writers on Twitter. Like everybody on here on Twitter, like shoot, keep tagging all them people. Tag Dan Raphael. Tag Sean Zattel. Fight Hype. Fight Hub. All of them. Like, hey, how come we giving Buzz special treatment? And shoot, the fact that the WBC is willing to come down to 0.6% when they normally charge 3%, and Bud didn't want to pay that, man, come
Mm-hmm.
on now. Come
They could
on
have
now.
hit him in the head even harder than that for that
Exactly.
3%. Nigga, you just
Exactly.
made $50 million. That's the reason why I say that whole damn thing is part of a fucking political play that has to do with the Muhammad Ali Act, in which they could go ahead and try to, if not eliminate, but go ahead and put more restriction on the sanctioning bodies through an act of Congress.
So I
That's
don't
what
think they
they up
need to do
to.
all that. Cause like you seen WBC, they got two different funds that they put money towards to help fighters. Now one of them was the Jose Suleiman Fund. I think that's Mauricio's father who passed, and he was like president
Yeah.
of WBC before. They got that, and that goes towards like helping fighters who down on their luck, like after they retired and everything. But then there's another one. I think it was it Billy Dibb? There was another fighter a few years ago. I kind of want to say it was Billy Dibb, or it might have been more than a few years ago. But he was working with the WBC to go ahead and put some another program in place so that money can go towards helping fighters like with medical bills and a whole bunch of other shit. So it's like, okay, I don't know about the WBO, IBF, and WBA, but I mean, apart from putting on the fights, apart from providing the referees and sanctioning fights to take place, like there's other stuff that the money go to. So I mean, if it's helping boxers, that's good. But you see how it is with these guys. This for me, I'm looking at it, this whole thing that Turkey's trying to push, that the ring belt is the only belt that matters. And of course, you see
Exactly.
Max Kellerman been on one this past 2 weeks, pushing that ring belt. So that's the thing for me, where it's like, yeah, they pushing this ring belt, trying to get the sanctioning bodies out, trying to convince people that this sad way that they're doing things is the right way. And for some reason, they expecting that this guy who don't know nothing about boxing, Turkey, just because he's throwing all this money at, the fighters who don't really do shit, that all of a sudden he caring that he's doing what's best for the sport. I don't believe that. I don't.
No, he not.
And man, like,
For real.
I mean, shoot, you seen what's happening with Tiafimo and Shakur, right? Like, you see the fight date, January 31st. Like, come on. Like, they got a Knicks game the night before and the Knicks game the night after. Like, and like, who knows what the weather gonna be like at that time? Smack dab in the middle of winter. Like, shoot, they're gonna have a snowstorm. Who gonna get to the fight if that happens? And then
Exactly.
it's at the end of the month. The people got rent due the next day. Shoot, it's January 31st. Shoot, Valentine's 2 weeks after. People gonna skip out on paying for their date to go watch that fight, and their prices is high. Like, consider, and this is the craziest part. This is the first time Tiafimo and Shakur have headlined a pay per view ever. They ain't headlined pay per view before.
They've
So
been
they put
B-side boxers all their damn life. Free on
and the,
TV.
exactly, and then like building the undercard for it. Who's gonna be on the undercard? Because they basically undercard fighters. So basically, the whole card about to be an undercard. You ain't gonna put no names on there. Like who do they have out there that's less popular than Shakur and Tiafimo is gonna be willing to be out there? It's gonna be the guys that they normally put on the prelims that don't nobody ever really pay attention to, unless they happen to know what's taking place and turn on YouTube. It's gonna be the guys you normally see on the prelim card. So this card might not even have prelim. Like, it's basically gonna be all prelim fights and an undercard. And then it's right after New Year's and Christmas, and people be going on vacation to get to a warmer spot, and it's gonna be out there where it's cold, so people gonna be leaving town, unless they hardcore Knicks fans are gonna be up there. So for me, it's
Yeah.
like, man, the way that Turkey moved and the way that these promoters been following in line with him, man, I swear they need to look at Oscar De La Hoya and what he's saying in his clapbacks, and get on board with him. That's what they need to do. Get on board with Oscar. I don't know what Eddie and Frank Warren is doing. We ain't heard from Bob Arum in a while. I know they said he had got sick, but shoot, man, like,
No,
I'm not liking the way things is looking with this whole nonsense they doing with all these belts and then like these horrible fights they putting on. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not.
I'm gonna say this much about far as even with the money that's supposed to even go to the retired fighters, because really fired multiple fighters. But I'm saying
Are you cutting out?
Earl Spence. Oh man, can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, I hear you now.
Yeah, because I'm going back to even the Crawford and Spence fight. I even recall Spence putting that out there in the press conference that where's his money going is not going to the fighters, basically. So, and I don't know if that's the reason why Oscar De La Hoya didn't pay his sanctioning fee against Sugar Shane Mosley back then, or what, but I'm just starting to hear from a lot of fighters. I know it's really not their business. I mean, y'all owe, if you owe for the sanction fee, pay the sanction fee, regardless of what they doing with the money. But my whole thing is this: if the sanction fee putting it out there that hey, this percentage is going to the fighters, then I think people should be able to see that that's where it's going to. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
like I feel you
So
on that. Like, that's what Mauricio was saying. Like, they lowered the fee for Bud and was only going to charge 300,000. They was only going to keep 75,000 of that. 225 was going to the Jose Suleiman fund. So that's one of the two funds that I know of that WBC got. The other one I forget what they called it, but yeah, they like out of the 300,000, they only keep it 75. That's not bad. You know what I mean? But like, at the same time, like if you want to fight for a belt, then you fight for a belt. The thing is, like the sanctioning bodies actually got to follow the Muhammad Ali Act. Ring Magazine doesn't because they don't sanction fights and they don't have. I don't think they got any referees assigned to ring. Like normally, you see the referees, they got like the WBC patch for the IBF, WBO, WBA. I don't think there's a referee I seen that got a ring patch because it lets you know what sanctioning body that is putting on the fight. And the fact that the ring magazine they shady anyway. Like I don't see why we gonna consider their rankings more important when they've been sued multiple times for playing with rankings. I know the
Yep.
biggest one was what was that one tournament that Don King had put on way back when. I know that was the biggest case that they got busted in. So like they was writing articles, putting stuff out to change public perception and move certain fighters in the rankings. So then that way certain title fights will get made, certain guys will be ranked in certain spots. And then that was also influencing betting and everything too. Because it's like, oh, this is the guy that's really the one. So we should be putting money on him, betting on him, and yeah, this guy over here, he's a good one too. So he should be in a position to go ahead and get this title. Like that's what the Ring magazine was doing. Because with another thing with the Muhammad Ali Act, like one of it is like with the rankings got to be honest. They can't be playing with the rankings. And if a fighter's at a certain ranking, they're supposed to be able to go for a belt. Yeah, they got to do that. But the thing with the Ring magazine is, it's public perception. They say they only put the ring
True
belt
that.
up when the top two fighters in a division is fighting. So if that's the case, then how the hell did Devin Haney get the ring belt for Brian Norman? How's Brian Norman the one who's recognized as the best in the weight class? Ring put Devin Haney number one at 147 because he beat Brian Norman Jr. And there's a bunch of guys at 147 is better than Brian Norman Jr. And shoot, one of them even already whooped Devin's ass, Ryan Garcia. They got Rolly Romero who whooped Ryan Garcia. Both of them is in the same weight class, but Devin's ranked above them. And one of them ain't even ranked in the top 10 for 147. But that's on the rings list because the ring, like I said, public perception. And since Turkey bought the ring from Oscar, it's basically like whatever fighter Turkey is pushing. And same thing with Shakur Stevenson right now. So they got him. They were saying they had him and Keyshawn ranked as number one and two at 135. Now y'all believe that Keyshawn Davis and
Who do they
Shakur
have ranked
Stevenson?
number one and number two? Who has
Yeah,
what? What?
at a time the Ring magazine had Keyshawn ranked as number two behind Shakur Stevenson at
And like
135.
Javante number four or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
all they ever do, bro. They're fucking just terrible, man. Like
Oh
Ring
yeah.
Yep.
Magazine, to cut in on the conversation, Ring Magazine is owned by Turkey Al-Sheikh. It's going to list fighters that Turkey Al-Sheikh likes, period. Just like with ESPN, everybody, damn near a whole top 10 in ESPN's top 10 are ESPN fighters. It's their list, and that's all. But they want boxing to be run by these guys. They want boxing to be people want boxing to be run by the opinions of journalists. Like, don't the judges, like, if you ever notice, it's like almost constructed. You have journalists watching the fight arguing about what the judge's scorecard is when they're really journalists. So they're trying to take the power away from the judges and allow themselves to be the ones that really tell you who won the fight. That's how fucking manipulative this shit is in boxing, where they're going to already say, okay, we already know who's going to win. We already know who's going to win this fight. So they just go with the script where they make the whole story is that the guy that they think they fight that they wanted to win won. The judges see something else. And then we need to do away with the judges. We need to change the judges. We need to get with the Ring magazine does the same thing to the WBA, WBC. Oh, we need us to do it, not them. Dog, you're the journalist. You fuck up all the time. You're literally the most biased people that you could ask to score a fight. The most biased. Because you guys have to have access provided by the promoters. The promoters are not going to put you there if you don't say good things about their fighter because that's anti-promotion. The journalists are participating in the promotion, but yet they want to be the ones that are also telling you who won the fight. That's why you separate the WBC from the promoter itself. The WBC should not have any horse in the race. They just administer the whole and make sure everything is running properly. But a journalist is kowtowing to the person that buys the magazine. Turkey Al-Sheikh literally pays them money every fucking month or every 2 weeks for their opinion. So you think that that's a fair way to name a world champion? Is who Turkey Al-Sheikh tells the writers to pick? It's very obvious that that's what that is. That's why Ring Magazine has a magazine. But since they can't sell magazines anymore, they want to become a sanctioning body and compete with the WBC, WBA, and without having any of the responsibilities. The conflict of interest in Ring Magazine naming a champion is absolutely ridiculous. The conflict of interest involved there. You can't tell me anybody that is getting a check from Turkey Al-Sheikh should be allowed to vote on who a champion is. Because you guys aren't dealing with who champions are in real life. You're trying to make imaginary champions that you can name yourself. Like I can say, we are the Fanon champion. And if you just let me name all the champions, you won't have to worry about any of the fees. All the fights, I'll be able to track all the fights that are made, and I can tell you who really won. So I can tell you is Fanon's the Fanon belt. I get to name the fighters. I get to rank the fighters. I don't have to pay the fighters any money. So of course they don't have to pay me any money. But I'll give a list to you every week and I'll send it out and you'll be my champion. What fucking sense does that make?
None at all.
That's the exact same thing that they're asking you to do with Ring Magazine. Take Ring Magazine. Okay, and let me explain it this way, and then I'll definitely let y'all cook again. You got to understand, bro, that a company, like people say, oh, the UFC didn't get rated. The fighters got rated. No, all the UFC is a collection of fighters and of people. That's all a company is. Aside from the paperwork and the things you call it, it's just a group of people. That's all it is. So you look at the WBC and the group of people, and you see how many conflicts of interest they have and what their job is, and then compare it to Ring Magazine and what the writers, and I'm not talking about Ring, I'm talking about the writers, the people that make up Ring. Let me repeat, the people that make up Ring Magazine, the individuals that make it up. Steve Kim, Turkey Al-Sheikh, Mike Coppinger, Max Kellerman, among others, are the people that you're saying should be naming the champion. And they're all echoing together that they should be the ones that get to name the champions. Journalists who are literally paid by the magazine and the magazine's owner. The conflict of interest in that alone tells you can't have a Ring Magazine champion. Most you can have is a Ring Magazine award. If you want to award them a ring belt, that's fine, because that's all you're doing is awarding them a belt. But you guys are trying to circumvent the Muhammad Ali Act by propping yourselves up and a boxing organization up to control the whole sport, because you guys pick who the champions are. Just like you guys refuse to allow Gervonta Davis to naturally grow into a star. You guys are not good at making stars, but you are great at fucking trying to drag stars down to the ground. Those are the people that you guys want to decide whether you're going to be a champion or not. No. Let me tell you what you guys are doing when you support Ring Magazine. You're burning the bridge behind you is what you're doing. You're basically saying these guys have so much money, they have so much influence. Fuck it, I'm going for my own. I'm going to say what they say. I'm going to be the poster boy of this new movement in boxing. But that movement is not new at all. It's the same fucking thing. It's a group of people trying to monopolize the sport and redirect profits from the fighters to themselves, which is exactly what the mafia did in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s. That's what they did. Monopolized it. If you want to fight, boom, they may even get rid of people to prevent them from making fights. All the interference and all the, this guy's going to win the fight because of who's back. That's what they want to go back to. There is more. I'm telling you, man, fuck that Ring Magazine shit. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with it is that the mob is the one that made all the money, T. Orlando. Guys like Archie Moore never got a championship shot until his ass was like 40 years old. He got paid $800 while the favorite fighter got paid $80,000. You had whole generations of black fighters called the Black Murderers Row that were not allowed to fight for real championships, even though they were the best fighters there. Because they controlled the arenas, they controlled the managers, they controlled the media. That's how that was constructed. There's nothing new under the sun, which is why I'm telling you, I don't fucking believe that this is anything but the original people that had that system. And they are trying to go back to what they had before. You remember when the Madison Square Garden was the mecca of boxing? That's where all the fights were. They had to be televised there. They had a monopoly. And then it got broke up with a lot of criminal investigations because of all the other stuff connected with it. Ali broke from the mob. Don King is what he is. Bob Arum is what he is. But still, they had more government regulation and more fighters made more money. This is going back to the original model. They're acting like they're making up something new, though they're not. They're making up the same thing. That's the same thing. When Madison Square Garden had all the big fights and they had the fight cards in the little neighborhoods around there, they had a physical monopoly on that particular area. All the fights, all the fighters, all the gambling, all the liquor, same stuff, man. You think these Fortune 5 guys ain't any of these Fortune 500 guys ain't any better than these criminals? So no, absolutely not. They're not bringing on a new age. They're going back to the old one. All they're doing is it's got more bells and whistles. History does not repeat itself, but it damn sure rhymes. Think about the structure of boxing in the 1950s and look at TKO. I'm telling you, it is a reversion to that, especially when you know Turki Al-Sheikh and the PIF are funding TKO exclusively. The money is not coming from Paramount. That money is coming from Saudi Arabia just to put those fights on and have a monopoly. And they're getting all of the press and all the media to try to support it. Come on, man. You guys are not, I'm telling you, this shit is not good. It's not. You're going to have all the shit that people used to complain about with fighters at the top level where they went penniless. What do you think TKO's bringing on, Terence? What do you think that's going to lead to? But again, these people are not inventive people. They're not they don't have ingenuity. What they have is a knowledge of the structure that used to be and the profit that used to be made by the owners of that system, and they want to reestablish that system. That's why you always have to fight for your freedoms. Make sure you keep your freedoms. Don't sign your freedoms away, because humanity, especially the wealthy, always gravitate towards the oppression of the masses. You think because you got some money that somehow you are now of a higher class than you were before. No, you are not. You are just a useful idiot that is working with them to put yourself in pay these guys a lot of money to sucker them into this system. Pay them all kind of money, all kind of dumb money. Come with me, come on with me, come on with me. Dog, you know what that looks like? That looks like Hansel and Gretel. Your ass walking down walking through a forest, and all of a sudden, two kids see a fucking candy cane house. And you just, oh my God, this is so great. A candy house in the middle. I was so hungry. And you start taking that money, eating that sugar, and that's your ass. But okay, think people did not end in that. There's not a reason why people wound up in chattel slavery. There was a look, it takes a long time for dudes to be pulling off these type of fucking moves. Black people were at the head of all the world. And it may take 5,000, 10,000 years, but they've got that shit fixed. These people are not planning for 5, 10 years. They're planning for 100 years. They're planning for 200 years. And if you don't think entertainment plays a role in their planning, you're nuts. Because all of your free time, that's when you're not slaving for them, you get your entertainment. But if they control your books, and they control your movies, and they control your sports, and they control your alcohol and your food, that's a monopoly. But they go one finger at a time. And anybody that signs away their rights is a fucking traitor to the people that fought for them. And that's not saying you have a right, you have to exercise every right. But come on, man, open your eyes, bro. And don't be part of the fucking problem, bro. Open your eyes. Know what you're doing. When Oscar De La Hoya is not lying about what he said here, man. Oscar De La Hoya, and look, let me talk about like showbiz for a second. He did a little hit piece on Oscar because at one point in time, Oscar had problems with the sanctioning bodies. That is a mental fuck job trying to be pulled. Because just because I've had issues with the sanctioning bodies, lots of them. You could put tape of me saying the WBC, we be crooks, whatever Bob ordered, talking bad about the WBA and the WBA belts, all kind of tape of me saying that. That doesn't mean I'm stupid enough to say that they shouldn't exist. That's like saying the police. I can tell you all kind of things that I know happen bad with police officers. I'd be a damn fool if I thought I didn't need police officers. Just because there's the military does things and things go wrong in the military doesn't mean you don't need a military. Okay? Just because a plane crashes don't mean you don't need airplanes. Okay? That's the argument he tried to make. Oh, well, you said it once. You can't. With no, Oscar's 100% right. He's 100% right. He said, if you go with Dana White and TKO, you are signing away your rights. These people are not out for the good of boxing. They are trying to make boxing secondary to the UFC. They want to sign 200 fighters whose careers they're going to ruin because Turkey Al-Sheikh is willing to pay for the whole thing. And there's no financial risk to Dana White at all. Who does business like that? Backs the whole thing with no financial risk to the other guy. I'm telling you, I got a piece of advice in business, and I believe it's true. Never take something for free. Because every time they offer you something for free, I'm telling you, they want something in return from that. And if they're willing to spend $1 trillion, like Blue Blood said, then I have to wonder, maybe that's Bibi Netanyahu. If Bibi Netanyahu's spending $1 trillion on something, bro, they're going to want a return on that investment. And I know that area of the country, that area of the world, loves slavery. They love slavery. Love it.
Yeah, they do.
Whether it's chattel slavery, whether it is wage slavery, whether it is economic, whether it is military entanglements that create inabilities in nations to move anything, they love this shit. For you guys to drop that much money on top of boxing means you want the entertainment of Americans very badly. And they are trying to create exactly who can be a star and who isn't going to be a star. Shakur Stevenson is now being sold as a star. He got his teeth fixed and everything. He's being sold, you know he's being sold as the, oh no, Gervonta is really the guy. It's not Gervonta, it's Shakur. Why? Because Shakur played the game with these guys. Because Shakur's playing the game. That's why. Gervonta's not playing the game, he's playing the game. So you don't want to deal with the guy that won't play the game. You want the guy that plays the game. But you guys support this stuff? I have no idea how you could possibly support this stuff. You're selling little Zakeem Moses, Zaquan. You must be intending on paying for Zaquan Moses for the rest of his life, Shakur. Because under this system, which they're going to try to throw your boy Zaquan into, dog, they're going to feed him to the wolves, bro. They're going to feed Zaquan because there ain't going to be no top rank, Shakur. You know how you came out making all that money, Shakur? Ain't going to be none of that. Because you burned the bridge when you crossed it because you want to play the game. You remember that? You know how, Bud, how you had to give up all that money to your promoter to even get a shot to get in to top rank, and they took all that money for you for years? Dog, every young fighter coming out of Nebraska that you send to TKO, every one of them are going to be dealing with that for their whole career. Their very short, bloody, savage career. That's what Oscar De La Hoya was saying in this. I'm telling you, man. They're going to eat these young boxers up like the UFC fighters get eaten up. They're going to get eaten up. Thrown in there, you'll have a young black prospect, 18 years old, with all the promise in the world, going to get thrown in there with a 30-year-old Brit with 25 fights on paper, but really got 50 fights off paper. Because you know what? One of the things the sanctioning bodies do with their money, they verify that the fighter fighting is actually the fighter that they say they are. That's one of the things that the WBC does. The WBC tracks all the fighters in the world, right, that are under their system. They register their fighters. That's like how BoxRec was important. Because it used to be that you could have a prospect get thrown in there with a guy that his record is 10 and 2, but it's really not 10 and 2. He really got 30 doghouse fights. Way more experience than you think you are. Buttered up his record so he could go at you. And I'm going to tell you, I know a guy that happened to. I know a fighter that was very promising that happened to. Besides Jared Anderson, who that just happened to. Top Rank was like, hey, don't do that. But he said, no, I'm going for it. Because he had a sitting duck in Martin Bacoli. Because you don't know what you're going to get from Martin Bacoli. Martin Bacoli may fight you. He may roll on the ground and get up out of there. But what Martin Bacoli was a ringer. So if you want to know what happens with the WBC money, they try to ensure that you don't get hit with a ringer. Who's going to keep you from getting hit with a ringer if you don't have the sanctioning bodies? But that makes it easier for the promoters. It makes it easier for the promoters. It makes it easier for the managers to set you up to lose. That's why those guys said, yeah, man, all money ain't good money. Anyway, I'll let y'all cook for a little while before I break out, though. Sorry, I had to check that in.
Another thing is under the UFC pay scale, and the same thing going to be under Zuffa Boxing. They're going to see you as an independent contractor, but they're not going to pay you as if you're your own employer. They're going to lowballing the hell out of these boxers. Watch, they're going to lowball the hell out of them. And then if they don't want to go ahead with the script, they're just going to go ahead and fire them, kick them to the curb. Plain and simple.
No doubt. So what's up, man? Y'all got anything else? I think I'm gonna cut out a little early this morning on this Friday, bro.
Oh yeah,
Oh
last thing I
man,
was gonna say.
I mean, if y'all got something to cook on, cook. I ain't gonna get off
I,
if y'all cook.
I ain't got
all
too
right.
much. I was just gonna bring up something that Evander Holyfield has said that that people gonna realize when it's too late, and that's like in the UFC, fighters take home 20% of the revenue, and the promoter get 80. In boxing, the way it is right now, fighters get closer to 80, and the promoter takes 20. And people ain't gonna realize it till TKO hits, and they're like, "Hey, how come I'm not making this money y'all was talking about?" Like it, it like Oscar been saying, it's gonna be strange how they talking about they got top level talent because I know they're gonna try to promote the hell out of it, put them on commercials, put them on TV, do all this and that to try to make them seem like it's something they never seen before. And it's like, well, you think all the promotional companies like Top Rank, Queensberry, Golden Boy, you think they don't have scouts who's checking all the national championships, checking the Olympics, looking at what's going on in the amateurs, and looking for fighters to reach out to, or people who's in real boxing gyms don't have the guidance that they need to go ahead and make a good decision. I can understand if it's one of like them Taibo, 2 minute boxing classes and stuff that they're doing. Somebody come up out of that don't know nothing about the sport, and they're like, "Ooh, you can make money," and then they sign up with TKO. But like the people who's from areas that know about boxing, I would be very surprised if they had anybody in their corner who know anything about the sport steer them towards TKO for anything. Like that would just blow my mind to see something like that happen. I could see it happening in Nebraska because you got Mr. Integrity over there. But outside of people like that, nah, they're gonna try to be getting them to, places like sure, even on Pro Box with Lamont Roach and them. Like that's better than being with TKO and Zuffa. So yeah, man, like this whole thing, I'm hoping that we get another report like the one a few weeks ago that that PIF is losing more money because we need them to lose those unlimited funds as soon as possible.
True that. We
See,
want to
that's what
see
happened.
that gold mine they found end up being a fool's gold mine, a fake gold mine.
So that
But
they spared too many expenses. They didn't spare enough, and that's what happened, man. They ran out.
hey man, another thing is I wanted to go ahead and cook on is Redraw McGraw is out here on his pity tour, his Phil said about me tour. Oh, I'm the victim tour. I was robbed again tour. He's about to start streaming next. He's posting pictures of the fight only with him hitting Pitbull. I'm like, man, come on, man, dude, yo, give it up, man. You done had 3 draws. Look at what is
Exactly.
it in your game plan that is causing you to come up with these draws. Why are you not getting started at the beginning of the fight and then you try to pick it up in the second half of the fight? The problem with that is when you go here and you lose 5, maybe 6 rounds at the beginning, there's not enough time for you to build it back, especially if you lose 1, maybe 2 rounds at the back end of the fight. You putting yourself in the same position over and over again. And he did the same thing when he fought Tank. that he
Yep.
did with Pitbull. He slowed down at the end of the fight. He only came on during the sixth, seventh, or the seventh, the eighth, and the ninth. That's 10th. The fools who don't know boxing and don't know how boxing is scored, they're gonna go and they're gonna look at CompuBox and said, "Hey, he landed more punches, so he should be the winner." That's what the fools say because they listening to what the commentators say. You got to watch the fight for yourself. You need to know what the judges are scoring the fight on. Ring generalship. Number one, who is the most aggressive fighter in the fight? Number two, who is controlling that ring, which is ring generalship. I repeated myself, but you get the gist. It's not about CompuBox and who landed the most punches. You can say, oh, this man had all these punches, but in boxing, when you lead with your jab is going to count for more of your punches anyway. And at the same time, CompuBox people who are calculating these these punches can also be counting punches that's been missed. You know what I mean? Because they can't see if the boxer actually dodged it. You know what I mean? To be certain. You know, and also glove punches that's caught by the glove. Catch and shoot, catch and shoot. You know what I mean? Come on. You can't judge it by CompuBox. People got to start believing what they see with their eyes and not what the commentators tell you. Because commentators can tell you, and the unofficial scorecard can tell you somebody is winning this fight. That don't mean that they are actually winning the fight. And then when it happens that you end up with a draw, you got these Bud Buddies, these Shakorians, and these Haney fans, basically the B-Side Bitches Boxing Club fan club, coming around and saying, oh, all to a man. He won that fight. He got robbed. Cut it out. Lamont Roach, it's not the judges. It's you. It's you. Not the judges. It's you. Change
Yep.
your strategy.
Yeah. Roach don't really got a second gear. He really don't. He stay in one gear the whole fight and don't never he don't got like that extra to turn it up like we've seen. Like remember when Floyd got caught by Mosley in that second round, like apart from them two shots, like Floyd still beat Mosley up that round. And then after that it was a
Hmm.
different fight. Like remember Nazim Richardson was like, yeah, you hit him and then like a dragon will come out. And once that dragon come out, you're done. And so that's basically what it was there. Or like Tank when Floyd told him like, "Hey, you down on the unofficial score against Mario Barrios," and then he went in and got him up out of there. There's certain
Yep.
fighters that got like a second, third, fourth gear. They can turn it up a notch. And when they dig deep and do that, it's like okay, it's a whole different ball game for their opponent. But Roach don't got that. And one
Hmm.
more thing I say before I go, like those commentators, super biased, and the depending on who the fighter is. But like I don't know how many people paid attention, but like the whole press thing for that fight, like the final press conference, the weigh-in, the fight night, like that a lot of the commentary, a lot of the interviews, a lot of the people talking but they was all, like pretty much bashing Tank, uplifting Roach. You could tell they
Yep.
ain't even care nothing about Pitbull. But one particular thing in the fight that I noticed is like, okay, when Pitbull started, boxing on the back foot, to try to make Roach come to him, right? He was popping Roach with the jab. He'd like dash in, get like one or two shots off, get out, moving around, and Roach was lost. Roach could
He
not
was
cut the
just
ring off.
standing there like his feet was in
Exactly.
cement.
And that's what I was saying that I noticed when he fought Tank. Like the only way that Roach could look competitive is if you stand right in front of him or if you chasing him. But the problem is he don't let his punches go because he tried to counter almost everything. Like, he don't really be proactive. And then,
Nope.
if you come in and just get a few shots off and move out, and he can't get position, shoot, he got to follow you. He can't do that. He can box a little bit going backwards, like he could throw a jab. He can't really do like nothing else off that when he's moving backwards. And then to throw anything else, he got to have his feet planted. Like he's really. I know. Like they were saying that yeah, he's tough, he's good. Me personally, after seeing like his last few fights since Hector Garcia, it's like nah. So that's why when Pitbull was doing that, and then the commentators start cracking jokes like, "Oh, Roach beating Pitbull so bad, it turned him into a wannabe boxer." It's like that's not what's happening in this fight. But if you listen to that, you would be confused and think that Roach is putting on some type of clinic. So nah, like that commentary, I mean, y'all got to be careful when listening to them.
They would tell you that that sky is not falling when the skies has fallen. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
listen to the commentators. There's some ridiculous. I'm sitting here. I'm like, yo, why is the commentator team pro Lamont? Everything they see out their
Oh,
mouth
hey,
was
shoot, I'll tell
complimentary
you.
to Lamont.
I'll
I'm
tell you
like, come on.
because they're the fucking boxing writers. Even if they,
Hmm.
I was, even if they are on, uh, even if they are on Showtime or whatever, these dudes are still boxing journalists. I'm telling you, and it's the boxing journalists as a unit that do the shit, and they do it across platforms. The Boxing Writers Association of America exists across platform. It's on YouTube, it's on Twitter, it's on ProBox. Any of those guys that are doing commentary and professionally being paid are somehow connected with the Boxing Writers Association of America.
Mm.
They come up with narratives within the Boxing Writers Association of America, and when they do that, it permeates through all of media. That's why Bob Arum was in such a was always careful to have fights around the time of the convention for the Boxing Writers Association, because it's a unit. It's like a union of writers. When you have a union of writers, and you have managers, you have different places they can go to get employed. Like if you look at Steve Kim has worked for Ring, he's worked for ESPN, he's worked for Max Boxing. If Steve Kim stops working for Ring, he'll go work for Yahoo. Like they're all in the same union, and they are the ones that agree on messages together, and they coordinate with each other. That's why I knew that Coach Malachi was one of them. Like the guy, the little hee dude, that guy is he is literally a journalist. That's not some just, oh, let me be a boxing coach, I'm cool. No, he's connected with that. And the reason I knew it was because I saw Steve Kim he got an interview with Buddy McGirt. And I watched the interview and I could see that Steve Kim was right behind him. So that was the Boxing Writers Association getting him an interview in exchange for what? The shit he says. You know what I mean? Specifically about me. Because I'm telling you, the fucking Boxing Writers Association of America has had it out for me for years. And I'm sick to fuck of them. From Dan Rayfield to Mike Coppinger, all y'all. I'm sick of y'all. But yeah, that's why you see it on you. That's why it's on Showtime. Why Showtime always is calling the fight against Deontay Wilder. They're calling the fight against Errol Spence. Because the actual organization that hires them are asking them to be non-biased or give them their perspective. But they've got this overriding unity with the Boxing Writers Association of America that manipulates the media, which is why you don't hear about certain things that happen to certain fighters, why they react in unison when they attack me or act in unison about anything with Gervonta. Why none of these guys can get good press? Because Al Heyman didn't play the game with the Boxing Writers Association. And you saw how they used to attack Don King before that. But Bob Arum was in well with them, and now Turki Al-Sheikh basically bought the whole lot of them, which is why you really can't take anything you hear seriously, because their attempt to manipulate the narrative in boxing is almost ubiquitous. It's on every fucking platform, and it's overwhelming at this point in time because Turki Al-Sheikh is funding their operations with so much money. But I'm telling you, all they're doing is losing money and trying to create an air that they are the biggest and the best. That's why they don't want to pay their fighters more than $25,000 under TKO, but you can win a $180,000 gold embossed Ring magazine belt. What the fuck are you going to be able to? I mean, for real, what the fuck are you going to be able to do with a $180,000 Ring magazine belt? Nothing. But have that shit, but melt that motherfucker down. That's the only thing you can do with that.
Yep.
But no, man, that's the answer to the question. The Boxing Writers Association is the echo chamber of which we're speaking. If I was Gervonta Davis, and shit, sometimes I think of it myself, dog, if you get a case, matter of fact, bro, nah, I didn't want to say that, because that's why dudes like Khashoggi and them niggas can wind up disappearing, because they start affecting and saying things in the media that those guys don't want you to hear. So, but I'm telling you, it's all connected to that overall scheme, which is that they want control of the free time and your free mental space. They want to control what fighters you want to see. They want to control who you think the best is. They are constantly arguing with boxing fans and making the statements for the promoters themselves. But it doesn't work because all they're doing is spending money. That's why they don't want to talk about how they're the ones that put HBO out of boxing, the Boxing Writers Association of America. They don't want to talk about the loss of HBO and how Peter King, HBO trusted the media, because these are the boxing experts, the Larry Merchants, the Max Kellermans, that whole crew that was so arrogant that they literally said, we make stars. We don't have to look for stars. We make stars. That's how arrogant Peter King and the Boxing Writers Association of America are. You have to read some of the old school media. I'm telling you, they're the most arrogant, racist people you will ever fucking read in your life, bro. Arrogant, cigar smoking racists who think that they have the power of the pen over the young black man. And they whip that young black man with that pen over and over and over again. And that's the truth. So you want to know why they do it? Because that's who they are. They are the Boxing Writers Association of America, a closely connected group of people who exchange jobs, exchange inside information, and stay unified with each other, which is why Mike Coppinger, who is the absolute worst on-air personality that you could possibly imagine, the guy is as dry as fuck. Listening to Mike Coppinger speak is like trying to drink sand. It's like, fuck, what is this guy talking about? He is so terrible. How does he keep getting a job no matter what? Because of the Boxing Writers Association of America and their little thug-like mentality that they have. And I know they ain't got no muscle. I hate to get back on that. But no, Eddie Hearn, I'm telling you, that's who it is, and that's why it is. The Boxing Writers Association of America is the reason why Gary Russell Jr., nobody ever demanded that these champions fight Gary Russell. Why? Because it's not on the Boxing Writers agenda. So you have Anthony Joshua never fights Deontay Wilder. Why not? Because it's not on the Boxing Writers agenda. They would rather do business with Eddie Hearn and blow smoke up Anthony Joshua's ass is the next Universal Star, and Monster Inoue is the next Monster Universal Star. And going back to why HBO left boxing, because Peter King said, we're going to let the boxing writers decide who the fighters are that we focus, because they have their ear with the people. So what did they wind up giving us? Superfly. They wind up trying to sell Monster Inoue, who still doesn't sell. Chocolatito, Gennady Golovkin, Before that, they tried to sell They tried to sell Vladimir Klitschko. They tried to sell Vasily Lomachenko over Terence Crawford, which is why I find it so ironic that Terence Crawford is sucking ass right out of the same people that were fucking him over to begin with. He got problem with black media. He ain't got problems with the people that froze his ass out. All the guys that froze you out all those years was the Boxing Writers Association of America. But only when now watch this. Only when Terence Crawford got with commercial artists, CAA, only after he got those highly expensive agents did he get the Boxing Writers Association of America to cut him a break. Because they think that they can run and control what everybody thinks. That's what it is. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I had to want to cut on her. Bud don't stand on. Bud is shaky as shit.
No integrity.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he
Yeah,
is.
man.
All right, man. I got to get out of here, bro. I'm going to cut it at 10:30 on Friday, bro.
Yeah, I'm
It's
about
all
to
good, bro.
run.
All right, man.
brother.
Peace and
Yeah,
blessings.
y'all take it easy.
Peace,
All
brother.
right.
Peace. Yes, sir.
One love.
One love, man, for sure. All right, bro. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to wrap that up real quick. Thank y'all to everybody. Let me check. Oh, I got to read some super chats from yesterday, bro. No, but I'm not mad. Bud does play ball. Bud is playing ball right now. Bud is playing ball like a champ right now, bro. Believe it. Wow, he got that many kids? Oh, hold on 1 second. Hey, Lee Jackson says, salute for 9, great show. Thank you, brother. Bud is the game. Yes, sir. All right, man. Get back with T. Orlando, man. We'll be back. I'll probably do a live stream tomorrow morning. But thank y'all so much for chopping it up with me. King of Hayden, you still there? You still there, King of Hayden? Nah, he was up. Yeah. All right, man. Deuces.